guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Air. So, let's jump right back in. I listened to the girl without interrupting her. Has this young girl's voice reached the sky? How far can this girl's voice travel in this clear, silent, abyssal air?
That's why I'm going back. I've gained lots of happy memories. Because Minagi, and you too, gave me lots of happy memories. In exchange for her sad memories, I will give her a bit of happy memories. That's why I'm going to return the feather. I'm going to carry all these happy memories to her. It's sad to say goodbye to to the people we love, but I am just a dream. Just like how stars have to disappear when the sun comes up.
The girl hung her head. However, she suddenly looked up and straight ahead.
I think Minagi will be fine without me.
Michiru said that once more.
Minagi has to remain herself.
Her last words bore immeasurable weight. It was directed at the one she loved, an expression of her feelings toward her best friend. You... I looked at her and fumbled for words. You're Tono's... As if reaching out to grasp what wasn't there. As if knowing what laid ahead was only an illusion.
I'm Michiru, that's all you need to know.
The girl held back a smile that said that she was happy enough to be able to speak her own name.
But I'm really not Michiru after all. The real Michiru doesn't exist. She doesn't belong anywhere. What exists here is only a dream, and the dream is over. It was a really fun dream. I'm really happy. Even though I didn't have a chance to be born into this world.
The girl cried. I did not fully understand what her tears meant. However, I felt a deep sadness. It was painful to see the tears of this girl who was always laughing so happily. So I hugged the girl. I kept stroking her head gently again and again in the hope that she would smile at me one more time. That was all I could do for her. I hugged her until her tears dried. Then I looked up and saw the stars. These stars which only shine in the darkness of night. If you understand the sorrow of disappearing from this world, please listen to my plea. Don't take this girl away. Don't take her away. Please let this girl who has always brought warmth to our hearts stay with us forever. Forever and ever. Just the three of us. Let us never wake up from this dream. But farewells are always just around the corner. We can only watch as they unfold, even though they are painful, even though they are sad. One cannot help but live through the new encounters and farewells. The end of the dream is always right around the corner. August 10th. Sorry guys, I'm crying. Dawn broke and morning came. When I looked up, the stars were not visible. There were only blue skies as far as the eye could see. It was a beautiful yet sad color. Even so.
Hey, Kunosaki Yukito!
What?
Can you do me one last favor?
Yeah, just say it and it shall be done.
Really?
If it's within my means.
Don't worry, it's only something that Minagi and you could do.
Really? That's a relief.
Big relief.
So, what is it that you want?
Well... Hurry!
Hey, stop pulling! My clothes will get stretched.
It's your fault that you're so slow. There are so many fish!
You're right, there is a lot.
Yup, so many!
Stop dancing!
Twist, twist, twist!
We were walking through the greenery in the direction of the wind. We had no destination, nor was there a need for one. Just walking like that made us happy.
I want my own memories! Happy memories that only belong to me!
Well, I hope this could even count as a memory. I watched the two playing in the sunlight. There was no need to do anything out of the ordinary. We loved these ordinary times. Ordinary times spent with those we hold dear were the most precious to us. To live out our days like this was itself a happy memory. We climbed the mountain path, spotted by sunlight filtering through the trees. I tried catching up with Michiru, who was leading us, but I quickly ran out of breath. Hey, let me take a break. Exhausted, I stopped and bent over with my hands on my knees.
You're pathetic, right, Minagi?
Pathetic? Shut up!
He's mad!
Man. I inhaled deeply to regain my breath. The chokingly thick smell of grass filled my lungs. It was the smell of summer.
Let's go!
Michiru took off. I started walking so as not to lose sight of her. Let's go, Kunisaki-san. Tono smiled gently. Okay. I smiled weakly back. When we reached the shrine, we agreed to Michiru's proposition of playing hide-and-seek. It was a childish game, but we didn't care. To enjoy a game, one has to go back to being a child. And so we wished that we would never grow up. We wished to be children that remembered the world as we saw through our rose-tinted glasses. We searched high and low, and when we found each other, we smiled. We wished to be children who could have relationships like that. For now. At least for now. Oh gosh, it's really getting to me. That night, the three of us slept next to each other. After laying Tono's picnic sheet directly on the ground, we slept on it with Michiru in the middle. When I threw myself down, the sea of stars above me became my blanket. You don't plan to go home yet? I asked Tono in a slightly teasing manner. It's okay, I'm sure my mother would understand. Tono replied with a peaceful smile. Michiru, who was right between us, laughed happily. Peaceful time. It passed, sweet and mellow. Familiar, yet losing none of its luster. I finally realized that I loved these moments. To be with those whom I want to be with. This was time spent with those whom I had come to enjoy the company of.
Hey, Kunisaki Yukito!
Michiru, who was laying sprawled out beside me, whispered to me in a voice that was out of Tono's earshot.
Don't tell Minagi yet.
I got it. Having understood what Michiru meant, I patted her head. Is something the matter? Tono looked at us curiously.
You see, Kurosaki Yukito is happy he could sleep together with you.
Blush.
Minagi's turning red!
Hey, watch what you're saying.
You don't have to be embarrassed.
Blush. You too, stop blushing! Your cheeks are red too. Ugh. The night passed just like that. The warmth of the girls with their genuine smiles prevented me from sleeping a wink. And I didn't want to go to sleep. I was afraid that when I wake up I would realize that everything was just a sweet dream. A sweet dream that would be forgotten with the passage of time. I looked up at the stars, listening to the sound of the girls breathing until dawn broke.
Don't tell Minagi yet.
Michiru told me that. But you see, Michiru, I'm sure that Tono already... She already knows. August 11th. Ugh. The next morning, I made breakfast for the two of them. Gosh, I know this is so gross that I'm sniffling, but I'm crying, guys. I didn't sleep a wink. Before the sun crept past the horizon, I crawled out of bed before them and began boiling rice. When the sun had risen and the day became warmer, Tono got up before Michiru. I'll help. Tono noticed what I was thinking, so she said that she would help instead of doing it in my place. That little consideration made me very happy. Will you help me with the miso soup then? Yes, as you wish. She bowed and started making the preparation for the soup. I brought onions today. She took out a big onion from her bag and looked at me with delight. Michiru likes onions a lot. Really? I didn't know that. Even for the hamburger steak, the onions are the main dish for her. Tono smiled while looking at the sleeping Michiru. She sure is low maintenance. I looked at Michiru as well. Yup, she's a bit weird. She smiled at Michiru.
You onions!
Michiru spoke in her sleep as if she had heard us. Whew. The sight of Michiru filled me with a certain sense of peace. Tono, on the other hand, looked a bit sad. Well then, let's continue. Yeah, you're right. I hoped that Michiru would wake up to a day like any other. I hoped that the girl would be happy to have woken when she finally did. Tono and I prepared breakfast together. My nose. Tono laid a cutting board on the bench and started chopping the onions. It was music in summer together with the peaceful calls of the cicadas. While listening to those sounds, I put the mess tin on the fire and waited for the rice to cook. Afternoon arrived, and I performed my puppet act for the two. That was because Michiru had watched my act twice, and she said it wasn't fair to Minagi. When the act ended, the puppet bowed. The two of them clapped.
Hojutsu really is amazing, Minagi!
Michiru laughed at my performance. Yup, it's amazing. Tono was impressed with my performance as well. I wish there were more people who told me that.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, my act doesn't seem good enough to captivate others. That's not true. It's really interesting. Are you serious? Very serious. She nodded. Oh no, I feel like hugging her. I barely managed to suppress my desire. It's so interesting that I'd like to present you with a gift. She took out a white envelope from her pocket. I haven't seen your gift in a while. I received the envelope and waved it about. Is that so? Yeah, I'm a bit glad since I haven't got one in a long time. Only a bit? Should I act happier?
You're putting Kurosaki Yukito on the spot, Minagi!
Am I?
Yup, I think he's so happy that it almost felt like a kiss from you.
Kiss? Hey, stop analyzing my head! Blush. You too, stop fantasizing! I'm sorry, I did. Jeez, I scratched my head. Anyway, thank you. I stroked Tono's head. Blush. As I thought, she was embarrassed.
Isn't that nice, Minagi? You made him happy!
Yep, it's nice. Evening on the rooftop. I cast my gaze far into the town revisited by the orange sunset. The sound of the cicadas from the foothills carried forth by the sea breeze was gradually dying down. The dripping sun peered over the horizon. Before long, the stars would become visible. We came a bit early. But if we don't come at this time, we'll miss the appearance of the most beautiful star. The most beautiful? That's something to look forward to, I replied Michiru.
Yup, it'll be fun!
Michiru watched the sun set with a carefree smile. According to Tono, the first star looked like it softly caressed the horizon in the western sky where the sun set. So we waited.
Ah!
Michiru pointed at the horizon.
Yeah, I see it, Minagi!
Yup, it finally appeared. Clap, clap, clap. The western sky was still tinged by the remnants of the setting sun. The beautiful brilliance that appeared in the evening sky began to whisper a song. Another song appeared, then another. Wispy songs that told of a certain summer day. Songs of appreciation for this day that had just ended. It's beautiful. Tono, who had been silently watching the sky turn to dusk, finally spoke up in a soft voice. Yeah, it's beautiful. I told her my honest opinion. I felt a bit awkward for having said that, but Tono and Michiru simply looked at me and smiled. But am I the sort of person to speak of such things? Am I a person who can appreciate the beauty of this world? No, probably not. I had never stopped to reflect on the world that watched over me every day. It must be sad for me not to do so. It must be silly of me not to do so. But there might still be a chance to make amends. Perhaps I could reach out once more to what had already been within an arm's reach. Kunisaki-san. Tono's peaceful voice brought me back. Michiru too.
What?
You see, can the three of us make a wish together now? Her uniform skirt fluttered in the wind. To the stars, you mean? She pointed at the sky studded with 1,000 lights. Yes. May the brilliance of the stars cleanse our souls.
Okay, sure. Make it clean and sparkly.
Yep, clean and sparkly. The two of them placed their hands together spontaneously to wish on the sky beyond the wire mesh. But...
Kurosaki Yukito, aren't you going to make a wish?
I was watching them from behind. Kunisaki-san. Say, Tono. Yes? Are you really fine with this? Eh? The scene in front of me flickered for an instant like a candle flame. Is it really all right to wipe the slate clean? I'm afraid I'll have to refuse. You see, I want to live my life holding on to everything that makes me. That includes my ugliness and filth. After living to this age, I can't just pretend that I lived all those years for nothing. Kunisaki-san. It was the days I spent in this town that had come to make me think that. I could never let go of these summer days the three of us spent together. Do you just plan to let go of everything? I grabbed Michiru by the wrist and pulled her in front of Tono. Do you want to let go of the memories you have with her?
Minagi.
Answer me, what do you want to do?
Forget about that, Kunisaki Yukito, you're bothering Minagi.
I can't do that because you...
It's alright. Memories will never disappear. Hey, Minagi.
Tono. But I can't help it, can I? Can't help what? Everything was because of the sin I committed. Sin? My sin, my wish. If not for what I did, nobody would have to dream this dream. Michiru could have still been here. The clouds drifted on. A feeble breeze drew the curtain of night upon the sea. A windless calm signaled the end of the day. I'm sorry. Minagi put a hand to her mouth and left the rooftop. Michiru and I were left behind. I couldn't bring myself to give chase. Our clothes fluttered in the wind. She has noticed, hasn't she?
I suppose so. After all, we're always together.
I see you're right.
Have I caused Minagi suffering after all?
Of course not.
But...
Don't worry, she loves you too much.
I love Minagi too.
I'm sure she knows that. All the more so. Their relationship must be deeper than I had imagined. Even if Tono knew everything about Michiru, even if she knew everything that would soon come to pass.
The stars are beautiful.
Behind the wire mesh, countless small lights twinkled. Ephemeral lights. They looked so incapable of granting wishes, yet one could not help but be mesmerized by them. They were a fragile maiden's heart that could break at the slightest touch. After gazing at the stars for a while, I said goodbye to Michiru and returned to the station. The lights in the station's waiting room were off. Tono had already gone to bed. I let out a big sigh and relaxed my shoulders. I felt a bit relieved. If she was still awake, she'd certainly talk about what happened at the rooftop. It'd be cruel to make her do that now. Give us one night. With time, it'd become easier to talk. I sat down on the bench and looked up at the sky. Seduced by the twinkling of stars, my eyelids slowly drooped. Tomorrow? Will Tono tell me then? August 12th. Oh gosh, crying! Stop! The next morning, when I came to, Tono was nowhere to be found. I sat up from the bench, and a loneliness I had forgotten seeped into my sleep-clouded mind. Ugh. I raised both arms in the air and did an extensive stretch. My body felt like a spear for an instant. Where did she go so early in the morning? A warm breakfast had been prepared for me in the usual place. I approached and lifted the lid of the mess tin. A shapeless blob of steam dissipated into the morning air. Right beside it, On top of the utensils that were neatly laid out was the torn off corner of a paper of white memo paper, or piece of white memo paper, sorry. Sunlight fell on Tono's scribble and her soft handwriting. I'm going to school. That was all that was written. But that's all the time that I have for this episode, guys, so if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!